Hey guys, welcome back. It's Saturday. Hopefully, you guys had a great Thanksgiving. I did. I'm actually recording this on Thanksgiving evening. So if I stumble a little bit, it's because I'm in food coma. But what I wanted to tell you guys is my message for this whole series. You don't need $1 million to retire. You don't need millions of dollars to retire. But you do need a plan. You definitely need a plan. You see, about 11 years ago, actually, let's go back, about 14 years ago, my dad, he retired early. He retired early. He retired at the age of 55. He had a pension, and it was enough for him to survive. So there wasn't no income wasn't the issue. But one thing he didn't have was a plan, right? He didn't have a plan for life. You hear what I'm saying? So he retired at 55, early retirement, and he didn't have a plan for life. So for the next 3 years, he spent basically sitting in front of the TV and just watching TV day after day. And 3 years later, the day before Thanksgiving, he collapsed in his house and passed away. And so that reminds me of that every Thanksgiving, that if you're going to retire early, have a plan. Whether it is you have $1 million, whether it is you have, a guaranteed income, no matter what it is, have a plan. Have a plan. Because if you don't have a plan and you do like my dad did and just sit in front of the TV, chances are you're probably best off continuing to work. Because you need to have activity in your life, right? And a lot of times people's activity is actually work. That keeps us going. It keeps us up every day, doing something every day. And if you retire early and you don't have that plan to what to do with, 40 hours a week, it could end up being not good for your health. So that's what I thought about all day today is what can I say here? Because this, as you guys know, this Retire with Less series has been going on for over a year now. And it's really my public service announcement, if you will, that you don't need a lot of money to retire. Especially if you're frugal, especially if you're more like, I would like to say, the average middle, lower class, in air quotes, average person out there who lives on, $40,000 a year, $50,000 a year, right? If you're in that position, there's no need for you to have millions of dollars to retire, right? For one, you'll probably never get it if you're only making $40,000, $50,000 a year. I mean, it's possible if you started saving, when you were 18. But the fact of the matter is, most people wait until the last minute before planning for retirement, just like myself. I didn't think about it until 2018, right? I was 43 years old, and it hit me one day that, man, I better start thinking about this. And that's what started me on a lot of this journey and the YouTube journey. So have a plan. That's the bigger thing. The money is actually less important than actually having a plan. Because once you have a plan, then you can work towards it, and you can make things happen. And the purpose of this series in particular, the Retire with Less series, a lot of people get it confused. Like, aren't you supposed to retire with more? Yes, if you can. If you have the ability to, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with having more. Okay? But the fact of the matter is, like I said, a lot of us have planned late in life, And if you don't want to work until you're 70 years old, you may have to get a little creative. And that's the boat that I'm in, right? So where am I at in this? Okay. I've learned YouTube. So that's going to be a long-term income source as long as YouTube still pays out money, right? I am trading options. That is also going to be a long-term income source. I live frugally, right? Currently, my expenses are less than $3,000 a month, and I don't see that. Well, I shouldn't say I don't see that increasing very much, but with inflation the way it is, it might. So I got to prepare for that. But I'm not a doom and gloomer, right? I think positively, and I think you can make it happen. I think the big message, I think for the little guy, the average guy, start working on extra income sources, right? Whether it's a side hustle, whether it's YouTube, whether it's learning options, which is going to be a huge factor in my plans. So the purpose of this whole series on YouTube is to show you that you can generate income on a smaller portfolio, 1/4 the size that the average tells you, right? Because they always say $1 million to retire. Well, I started this portfolio. These are two theoretical portfolios that I started with $250,000. Theoretical paper portfolios. And I tracked a high yielding dividend stock, which is QYLD, and seeing what kind of income that will generate over time. And then I started out doing covered calls and buying a bunch of stock with the other half of it. And I ended up with basically index funds and selling cash secured puts and wheeling and covered calls, right? So that's where we're at. And I just, the exercise is less important than just showing you that if you're creative, if you're willing to learn just a little bit of a simple option strategy, that can really make a huge difference in the income that you can generate later on in life, right? Because we've been pulling off essentially 2,500 roughly every single month off of $250,000 on each portfolio, the QYLD side and the index fund side. And that's a big number, right? So say you have a side hustle, right, that pulls in $500 a month, right? Say then, you get to Social Security and you get $1,000 a month. There's $1,500 plus the, $2,000, $2,500 that you would get off of your portfolio. And it's really simple to do. And I just want to put these out there to show that you shouldn't fear it, right? Just look at it, examine it, learn your options, and figure out a path that you need to go down. And that's what I have done, and that's what I continue to do. And anyway, that's enough rambling. My PSA for the month, my once a month PSA. Hope you enjoy it. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you guys had a great one. And let's get back into the numbers. So we'll just look here. If you missed last month, check out last month. They all end up pretty much, generating the income that we need, right? So on this side is the index fund part where I wheel stocks, or I wheel ETFs, I should say. And we have 3 in here. I don't wheel the RYLD, but I have 3 in here. I have TNA, which is a 3x leveraged Russell 2000 ETF. I have QQQ, which is the NASDAQ ETF. And then I also have RYLD, which is the Russell 2000 Income Fund. And I put this one in here just to generate some guaranteed, quote unquote, guaranteed income every single month. And so for this month, we sold 6 contracts. If you don't know what a cash secured put contract is, or a a covered call is. I'll link some videos to show you that. But we sold 6 contracts of TNA at the $75 strike price, and we got $150 per contract out of that. So 150 times 6 is $900. And then on the QQQ, we sold 4 contracts at a $370 strike price, and we got $300 per contract there, so that's $1,200. And then RYLD paid out 25.5 cents per share. We have 2,000 shares there, so that was about 500, right? 510. So the complete income for the month from those 10 contracts in TNA and QQQ and the dividend from RYLD is $2,610. We have an income need of $2,600 per month. It started off at $2,500, but I upped it to $2,600 when we had some inflation numbers a few months back. Probably going to need to do that again soon, but I'm just going to do it once a year, because this right here shouldn't be the totality of your income. Okay, now if you can live off $2,600 a month, I mean, more power to you. But like I said, I like to think that you would have multiple sources of income. I think that's important. Have 2, 3, 4 sources of income. That way, you're not reliant on exactly one thing. So, all in all, this has a total stock and cash value of $300,000 now. This is after a whole year, and it's been over a year now. So if these contracts were assigned, it would cost us $45,000. If QQQ contracts were assigned, it would cost us $148,000. And we have $50,000 in value in the RYLD, so $243,820. And we are sitting on $56,466.86 in cash. That can do a couple of things. That can either allow us to sell even more cash secured puts. That could allow us to buy more RYLD. Or if our monthly goal of $2,600 isn't reached, we can just pull cash out and make up the difference. So, if you were only able to get $2,000, say, in a month safely in income from that, we can pull off $600 a month out of the cash. So I'm liking it. I like this side of it for that instance, right? A lot of people like the QYLD side because it's extremely passive, right? But on the QYLD side, you'll see we don't have any cash to fall back on. So that's why I like this side of it. So this side produced $2,610, and we had $10 overage that just went into our cash reserve. So now let's take a look at the QYLD side, which is fairly simple and straightforward. Now the QYLD side, we have 12,300 shares. QYLD finally paid out, got back to its almost normal dividend that they've been paying of 22.5 cents. So that was good, and it gave us $2,767.50 in income. We have our income need of $2,600, so we had an excess of cash of $167.50. So we have excess total cash here, $567.19. Our stock is worth $278,964. So this is the issue here, is if QYLD starts paying less income, we don't have any cash to fall back on here, right? So this is even more important to have even more income options. Have a side gig, have a YouTube channel that you make a few $100 on, have a little side business, that type of thing, right? It's even more critical to have extra income coming in if you're going to do the QYLD only thing, because you have no, if QYLD only generated $2,300 a month and you have zero cash, what are you going to do if you need 2,600, right? So that's why it's extremely important to have other income sources, and that's why I like this side of it more. I think I'm a little biased too, because I do sell cash secured puts basically for a living now. Not quite, but it's close to. It's actually my main income source is going to be cash secured puts here shortly, and to have this much cash on the side is a lot more valuable than people think. In accumulation phase, when you're just building up, maybe having the cash, if you have income coming in, if you have a job, if you're still employed, right? Maybe not having a cash cushion is important. But for me, if I were to retire, tomorrow, I definitely would love to have this cash cushion while still pulling in, $2,500, $2,600 a month. So that's it, guys. That's my thoughts. Again, have a plan. Don't retire. Don't fight for retirement and then not have a plan of what to do in retirement, right? My dad unfortunately didn't have that plan. He could have, even if it was just, since he was fine with the guaranteed income he was getting, maybe even if he just gardened, right? Anything like that, right? Something just to keep you going. Because sitting in front of that box, that death box of a TV day in and day out, is definitely not good for your health. So have a plan, execute the plan, learn some options, learn cash secured puts, learn covered calls. Those two things could make an absolute huge difference in your retirement life. I hope this helped you guys. My monthly PSA is over with now. You guys leave me a comment down below, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff that I say in every video. You guys have a great one, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye-bye. I am not a financial advisor. The information contained in this video is for entertainment and informational purposes only. It is not intended to be investment advice. Please seek a licensed professional for any investment, tax, or legal advice. Thank you.